Thank you for sharing your afternoon with us here on Kababayan LA. Another in-depth discussion of certain issue in the community, and I'm talking about the LGBT community. We have members of Barangay joining us today, and if you're just tuning in, if they're just tuning in, Greg, can you define what Barangay is?
Barangay is a community organization supporting LGBTQ community members, are Filipino and Filipino American.
Okay. And earlier we talked about defining terms, queer, questioning, what does it mean to be lesbian, what does it mean to be gay, and all that. Now, that aside, Barangay as an organization, what kind of a difference have you made? You've talked earlier about how Barangay is more than 20 years old now. Through the years, what kind of difference have you made in the lives of Kababayans that are members of this group?
Well, we have these workshops. It goes continuous year by year. And from these workshops, we have coming out workshops where we help people to come out to their friends, to their families. Other than that, we also...
But do you do that, the dramatization? You try to create instances where there's a dialogue or something like that? Is that...
Well, what we really do is say that it's okay to be who you are,
right.
Mm-hmm.
and that no matter what, your family will love you, they'll be supportive of you, and it's things that help you, we help them self-motivate, self-esteem to come out to their family.
Do you find that there's a need for that?
In the Filipino community, not really, but of course, you also want to, just in case you want to run to your family, in case you're going through a situation, and also just feel comfortable of being who you are.
So there's no need for the Filipino community? Are we saying that the Filipino community, Filipino parents maybe are more welcoming now, more open now?
Well, it depends on your family.
You believe so.
Yes.
She believes so.
And I think opposite.
You're the opposite. Okay, tell us about this.
And I think that because the Filipino community is very Catholic and religious, and there's not always a support group, that they're easily, welcome. Some families are, such as Aaron's, but some families are completely opposite.
Okay. And I'm sure you learn and you hear stories from your members too, right?
Oh,
What
yeah.
are some of the really sad situations?
You get these undocumented violence that comes within the family, and they won't expose it to the public because they're too scared to expose that their family is violent.
So you see members with bruises and stuff?
Not to that point, but then, from their stories, from just the way they present their stories, it's really dreadful.
Because we also have this Filipino, I guess, perception, belief among dads that if they beat their sons enough, then he'll turn into a real man?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, that's just,
Do you think it's easier for you to come out because you're a woman and they probably think that, it's a passing phase maybe?
Yes, for my experience, yes, it's easier for me. Growing up, I have uncles and aunts that are gays and lesbians, so it's easier for me. But as far as the father beating their son and thinking they're gonna grow up to be a man,
like a macho,
macho type.
Right.
To me, it saddens me,
right?
Because if you were born that way, you're just that.
And so I guess it boils down to education. We need to be educating the parents, which brings me to my next question. Do you have projects like this or activities like this for Barangay, where I know earlier you mentioned helping people to come out, but then at the same time, what about their parents, helping their parents to understand or be ready when their kids come out? Do you have that?
Normally we do. We have, on a monthly basis, we have our monthly talk, whereas we invite all these people, and it's a safe space for them to talk about any issues that they'd like to talk about. It's called our Kapihan.
Our Kapihan? Kapihan.
Yeah.
Coffee. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a safe space to talk mostly about
So
anything.
parents are also invited?
It's welcome for everyone.
Members bring their parents, maybe counselors are there, therapists are there to talk about
We'd
problems.
be honored.
Right? Yeah? That said, what are some of the issues that you encounter in this community as a group that helps promote or helps support this community? I know we talked about coming out, talk about parents needing to understand better. What else? What about community? What about, date rapes? Do you experience that? Do you experience domestic violence also? Do you have projects that support that?
We do have projects actually about hate crimes. Hate crimes have been gone up in the LGBTQ community. And so we had a few members have experienced that before.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And so we help them, we help them find and maneuver who to call the sheriff, how to report it, and stuff like that.
So you have guys like that. That is interesting.
Yeah.
I want to touch on that a little bit more when we return on the show. Hate crimes. What kind of crimes are committed against members of the LGBTQ community and Barangay? How do you become a member? We'll be back more. Don't go away.